We all have flaws and boo-boos. And while I absolutely love my Hazet 810R-4 ratcheting screwdriver, it certainly has one big design boo-boo. Well, the larger portion of the handle has some great grip. Often, for smaller tasks, I find that I like to choke up on the handle like this. And when I do, this section right here is very smooth plastic, so my hands tends to slip. So we're going to try to fix that today. So this is some special heat shrink tubing. Unlike regular heat shrink tubing for wires, this is made to have a little bit of extra grippiness for sports equipment or tools. On Amazon, they show it being used for rackets, screwdrivers, hammers, fishing rods, and I even saw a review where someone used it on their chainsaw. So before we get fixing things up, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Now, before we get going as well, I want to show that I actually have used this on other tools. So this is my Eiffel plier wrench, one of many. I have a whole collection, videos on this coming soon. And you can see here that I've already used this a while ago on these guys, and it actually works really well. It provides a really good grip on a tool that would otherwise have very cold metal and be very uncomfortable and slippy in the hand, especially when it's wet. When these guys get wet, actually, I find I'm able to maintain my grip. I've used these guys a lot. You can see I actually have rust coming back even though I've polished them up and made them look somewhat nice. Let's get started. First of all, let's measure how much we need. So roughly we need, I would say about a third of a banana. So let's measure that out. Boom. We transfer that. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than what we actually need. Now, on a little note on measuring with bananas, I want to say it's important you have the right banana. Anyway, so we're going to cover just the end right there like that. Okay. And once we slide on the tubing, we're going to get out our heat gun. Here's my heat gun. This is the Saint Smart Power to the Makers. It's pretty much one of the cheapest guns that I could get that had a nice little tiny power setting. As you can hear on the mic, I have it heating up. Now, as it heats up in the background, you can hear that on the mic, I'm sure. I want to take note that, so as you can hear that heating up in the background, I want to take note that I am not sure what kind of plastics these are. So I'm going to be as careful as I can not to possibly overheat things and warp any of the plastic. Because when you're using heat shrink tube on a piece that is plastic, it's very easy to have it warp. Okay, so let's start here. Okay, that's step one. Things are already conforming down to the side that I want, but we need to go a little bit more. You can see that it's conforming really well to the handle, and it's showing us the sides. So again, it is pretty hot to the touch. You definitely want to usually wait to touch before it cools down, but I want to see how much more space and room I have in here if I need to keep hitting it with the heat gun. And I'm checking the surrounding plastics to make sure that the mechanisms are still working and they're not getting melted. Okay, so I feel pretty good about this. The surrounding plastics have stayed hard, Now you'll notice that I did an overlap right here. So obviously I won't be able to close this. And I did that by design, and you'll see in just a second here. Um, I have my box cutter, and we're gonna put that full out. And the idea is that I'm going to trace along the edge with the box cutter to cut that piece off so that it will sit flush against here. So after it's heated up and shrunk, give it a few moments cool down before handling it. Obviously, if you have a hobby knife or something that would be sharper than this guy, like maybe a better razor, that's what you're gonna wanna go for. I'm gonna try to cut little bits at a time, and we'll see what happens here. So it's actually really thick plastic as well, so it's hard to cut through. There we go, so we broke through. Okay, so that's the first layer off, but you can see that I still have some in there. Now this is really tough to try to get going, but you can see that it's almost there. It does lock, but there's a little bit of overhang there I still want to deal with. Now I am slicing a little bit of the plastic off underneath. I'm not trying to, but unfortunately because we were trying to get so close, it just happens that way. And this isn't looking as good as I would like it to look. So again, if you have a hobby knife, it's probably going to give you cleaner cut lines. And I would certainly suggest that because I'm not loving the cut lines I'm getting with this. You can see I'm having a little bit of trouble getting that last little bit off. So you can see the cut lines are a little bit rough. So I do have a little bit of that lip coming over that's not fully closed. I don't want to get too close to this, so I'm gonna try to remove that as well. Now typically when you're cutting with these blades, what I'm doing here is a little rough because you shouldn't be cutting towards yourself. Every time you cut towards yourself, you're inviting yourself to be cut. Generally speaking, it's just not a great idea. It seems to be the best scenario. So again, it's not the most beautiful out there, but it feels actually really good. Actually, there's a lot more grip there. Okay, so it's cooled down now, and I wish I could have gotten these lines a bit smoother. But I think it's going to work for what I want because in holding it right now, there's a lot of really good grip there, and as you can see, it's not twisting. So I can still take out my bits, and this is still a very Ninja screwdriver. Here's a really old, silly push light, and it has 3 screws in the back. Let's see how grippy this guy's gonna feel when we're removing some screws here. And I'm trying just to use that new grip. You know what? Overall, that feels pretty good. You know, fixing small things is rewarding because it can be a quick way to provide a feeling of accomplishment. And this reminds me of the saying, don't sweat the small stuff and it's all small stuff. This is a simple fix that can make an already versatile, convenient tool that much better. Okay, and if you want to see how versatile and convenient this tool is, and why I call it the most ninja ratcheting screwdriver ever, check out my original video review on the Hazet 810R-4. Thanks for watching.